Hello folks, today is Friday, August 24th, 2018. As usual, it's me, Jake Baldino, here to talk about video game stuff that goes on every single week. And we are deep in it. Gamescom news, stuff like that. So we got a lot to break down, so we might as well get right into it. And the first thing actually is very interesting. You may have seen this hitting headlines a lot recently, a lot of YouTube thumbnails out there about Battlefield 5 and the epic failure that it might be. I say might because it's still up in the air. So what we do have, and what really blew things up, was a report by an analyst company that made a prediction that Battlefield 5 will be one of the lowest performing Battlefield games of all time.
Man, I wonder why. It's not like fucking EA and DICE's last game left the worst possible taste in people's mouth.
Couldn't have said it better myself. They broke down that despite the growing game industry and popularity of these games, it would do worse than Battlefield 4, Battlefield 3. More significantly, what they pointed out is they pointed to low pre-orders and the fact that the game is lagging behind pre-orders of Call of Duty Black Ops 4 by 85%. That's huge, especially when you couple it in the word that analysts are saying that Black Ops 4 isn't exactly blowing doors down in terms of pre-orders, but the fact that Battlefield 5 is 85% behind that is pretty crazy. The analyst report also broke down that it's lagging well behind, the obvious heavy hitters of the year, like the upcoming Red Dead Redemption, Spider-Man, Assassin's Creed, stuff like that. But they said in the last 2 weeks that pre-order rates have declined even more, so it almost seems like interest is waning. And the analyst report, they're taking their numbers and they're adding their predictions, and that is the information we were given. They don't completely give us reasons why they think this may be. Everyone out there on the internet has a variety of different reasons and beliefs why Battlefield 5 is going to underperform. Whether it be political or market-based, I look at it as a market thing. I see people kind of getting tired, or maybe them just not advertising it the right way, or the fact that it's a World War II game.
Or the fact that Fortnite exists.
The fact that Fortnite exists. I also don't really, care too much about analyst reports. I like to just see what happens when it happens. I have no stock in this game. I don't really care either way, whether Call of Duty beats Black Ops or vice versa. I also am not a shareholder in any of these companies, so I don't need to look at predictions. It's still fun to speculate, but we won't know until the games are out, right? But moving away from numbers and predictions, let's get into the real stories here. The stories, me behind the camera, the things I am meant to tell to you, the people at home watching. And that is hot news from Gamescom about Fortnite and someone pooping on the floor. According to a report from a German news website that was graciously translated by a Resetera user, the line at Gamescom for the giant Fortnite booth that has a massive presence there was so long, and there was one dedicated fan waiting on that line for so long, he didn't want to get off the line, and apparently he pooped in a bag and left it on the floor. Apparently it turned into pure chaos as people started to notice. The bag was apparently stepped on, caused a huge mess. I don't really have anything funny to add because the jokes write themselves here. I don't need to do that. But people are saying, well, duh, you can just play Fortnite on your phone. Why are you waiting online to play Fortnite? Well, it's because there is an exclusive spray you can get at Gamescom for waiting in line and playing, and then you get your hands on it. So I understand why some really hardcore dedicated people would want to wait. But to poop in a bag? Man. But in an unexpected update, I now have word. This is Nick Chester, senior PR guy at Epic, behind Fortnite. He just tweeted, I can't believe I need to tweet this, but this did not happen. Now this begs a question, like, who do we believe here? Do we believe a random German news website that we can't read that was translated by some random dude on Resetera, or do we believe Fortnite PR? I'm gonna let you guys decide. Let's keep this poop ambiguous. Also, if you are at Gamescom, be sure to let us know if you saw human fecal matter strewn about the floor. We'd love to hear from you. Thankfully, though, coming out from Gamescom, besides shit, we also have some new Cyberpunk 2077 news. There are some interesting reports coming out, previews from the demo presentation that journalists got. Apparently, it is very similar to the one that we saw and we've reported on. We got to see the game running at E3, although now people have gotten glimpses of a new type of electro vibro sword that can deflect bullets. We also got a new look at some of a playthrough of the male avatar. And very interesting, I definitely think you should check out, I linked below, is an interview with one of the developers, and they go on record talking about the decision to initially show the game off during the daytime, something that set off Cyberpunk fans who just wanted a Blade Runner futuristic dark city. They describe how it was a design challenge. You know, you can make a city look really cool at night, but making it look cool during the day in the future is a little bit different and a little bit fresh and a bit more of a challenge. So that's why they set out to make the game look great during the day, so then it can also look great at night. But not only that, the most interesting bombshell news of Cyberpunk from Gamescom and from this interview is that the game is now internally officially playable from start to finish. That means like all the assets haven't been added in, side quests, lots of tweaks, fixed bugs, but the game is mapped out and somewhat playable from the start to the end of the game. And that's pretty great. I actually didn't expect Cyberpunk to be that far along, but I think that is good news for the progress of it. And the way me and many other CD Projekt Red fans have been handling it is any little bit of information definitely helps. So this is good news, I guess. But now we got to run down a lot of Gamescom stuff that dropped. It's been a busy week. This is all linked in the description, of course, but the first thing you need to check out, there is actual gameplay out there for Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, a new game from Software, the makers of Dark Souls, and this game looks good as hell. Some of the way the character attacks and animates does remind me very much of a Dark Souls game, but then just once you see what the enemies are doing and traversal around the environment, you can tell that this is on a different level. They're trying something different here, and I'm really excited to see what it turns out to really be. We also have some direct feed Devil May Cry 5 gameplay footage, and I really like what I'm seeing here. It has a lot of push-pull dynamic thanks to Nero's arm, lots of aerial combat, lots of shit-talking, lots of cringy one-liners, basically the stuff that I come to Devil May Cry for. We also got a new look at Dante, seemingly playable. He can basically take apart his motorcycle into these cool weapons and use those. It also looks like he can ride around on the motorcycle. That looked like gameplay where he was hitting the enemies. So I'm curious to see how this game handles locomotion, like with Nero surfboarding on his rocket-powered arm. There's a lot going on, but you can see for yourself with the gameplay. I think it looks really good. But speaking of really good, oh man, we got some gameplay footage for Resident Evil 2, the remake, this time Claire gameplay. For those of you that don't know, in Resident Evil 2, there were two campaigns. You could play as two characters, and Claire's adventure goes into some weird places, and it seems like they're not straying away from that with this remake, because we got a look at her facing off against William Birkin, and it looks goddamn incredible. This game is running in the Resident Evil 7 engine. Sorry if I sound like a hype man, I really like these games. And just moments when the shadows hit and the sparks fly and you see his big monstery face. I also watched the video with headphones, so he sounds terrifying. I'm all in. That's all I can really say about it at this point. I mean, you guys know me. But also, since we are breaking down trailers and things linked in the description, every once in a while I try and give you guys some good articles to read, because I figured, we spend so much time talking about video games here, you may as well be well read on them. So I linked two things in the description. The first is a pretty good deep dive by gamesindustry.biz about why Microsoft bought Ninja Theory, the folks behind stuff like Hellblade, just to see what their thought process is, both from the Microsoft side and the Ninja Theory side, is pretty fascinating. But I also linked a really great piece about the Shenmue community, specifically groups and forum members. I'm a member of one of the Facebook groups, and how they've kept the dream alive and have been fighting for this game for so many years. And now we finally have Shenmue 1 and 2 HD, and then eventually Shenmue 3 next year, which the latest news is that they announced it's releasing in August of 2019. I really hope it hits that date, but it still seems so far away. We don't know for sure. But I do think there is a good, passionate group of fans out there, and I thought this was a pretty good article on it, so check it out. But of course, we did touch upon it a little bit last week with the rumors leading up to it. Then we did talk about it on the live show on Twitch. But now it's official. NVIDIA has announced the RTX 2080 series. There's an RTX 2070, an RTX 2080, and interestingly enough, there's an RTX 2080 Ti. This line of graphics cards brings drastically more power to the table. Once again, a big jump similar to the 1080s, but these are being hyped up to have ray tracing technology. It's a new form of lighting. It's a next-gen type of lighting that is most notably used more on CGI stuff in movies. But the prices are very steep. You know, you're going to be spending upwards of hundreds to over $1,000. So I do want to hear from you guys if you are upgrading, you PC fans. Are you going to wait? Are you good? Also, something I'm really excited about is a new game or a new game series from Supermassive Games. These are the guys behind Until Dawn, which was really a complete underrated hit. Really enjoyed that. So now they are making a horror anthology series, which I think is a really good idea for what they do. The anthology series is called The Dark Pictures, and the first one is going to be called Man of Medan. It seems like an aquatic kind of horror adventure. We've got some famous real-world actors in it. The graphics still look a little funky. Apparently this isn't the same engine as Until Dawn, because now this isn't going to be a PlayStation exclusive. This is being published by Bandai Namco, so it's going to be on all the major platforms. I like Supermassive Games. I gave the Inpatient PSVR game a shot. It was alright, but I'm just curious to see how this goes down. There is still so much more to talk about. Unfortunately, I don't have time for everything, but just know that the live hour-long show will be coming back to YouTube, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Those are going to be dropping on Tuesdays, 4 p.m. Eastern. So if you like this show every Friday and you want a little bit more of it, consider coming around on Tuesdays. But of course, now we got to do that console giveaway we do every single week. You know how it goes down by now. There's a link in the description below. You click it to sign up. You enter once, then you're entered for good. And then every single week we go in to randomly choose one person to win a free console of their choice. And this week's winner is going to be this person right here. Congratulations. Be sure to keep an eye on your inbox, your spam box, stuff like that, because Tom's going to be reaching out to you to find out how to send you your free stuff. But now, after all these stories, I want to know what you guys are thinking this week, what you're really enjoying. Of all the Gamescom stuff that has dropped, what's your favorite bit of news? Was it the poop? Was it Devil May Cry gameplay? I want to hear from you. How do you feel about the Battlefield 5 versus Call of Duty Black Ops thing? Do you believe Analyst? Do you not care? Are you not into either of those games? Or do you prefer one over the other? And in the new Gamescom previews and impressions of Cyberpunk 2077, what are you most interested to hear more about? Basically, I just really think we need gameplay at this point. I think they need to drop something soon. I think they will. But regardless, let's talk about video game stuff down in the comments. Let me know what you're playing this week. We'll be down there talking to you guys as much as possible. But of course, if you got anything else for us, be sure to hit me up on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Jake Baldino, or find us all on our Discord, discord.gg/gameranx. But thank you for coming around every Friday and watching this with us. If you enjoyed it, clicking the like button does help us out. And if you are new, you should consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell, because YouTube is weird, but we put out videos every single day. But either way, as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Pizza's on me.